Hey guys, welcome back to another Work for Game podcast. I'm here with my buddy Somber here. How's it going?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Thank you so much for joining me for another spoiler cast. And guess what? Unfortunately, it's not Final Fantasy VII Remake. I know I said that from the last podcast that we were going to do that game. I'm so sorry, Somber. I promise you, we are going to do that spoiler cast one of these days. But first, we have to touch on this wonderful game called Splatoon Raiders. We're going to talk about our general impressions about the story, the gameplay mechanics that we liked, the art direction, the music, as well as what our thoughts was about Deep Cut from when they were introduced back from Splatoon 3 up until the ending of Splatoon Raiders. So stick around to the end for that. So first, wanted to kind of touch on a little bit of like the synopsis of what Splatoon Raiders are. So I have here that in Splatoon Raiders, the plot follows the idol group Deep Cut and an unnamed mechanic who crash landed on the Spiralite Islands, fighting off hostile salmonids and hunting for treasure. Prompted by news of newly resurfaced Spiralite Islands, Deep Cut hires a pilot mechanic to fly them there on a treasure hunt to help pay off regional deaths. A strange beam of light and severe storm strike the helicopter down into the archipelago. Stranded, the crew spins among building a makeshift hideout ship from salvage to use as their base of operations. And for this game, I normally don't do this for any games because back when I was younger, I never really thought about people who made the game, the developers, what went on behind the scenes. When I was younger, I thought video games were created from imagination and magic. That's just how I thought they were. I didn't think that there was some processing chips and some other other factors that went into it. So what I did was that I did a little bit of ask the developers, and it was kind of interesting what they had to say. I'm not going to touch upon everything because it is a lot to take in, but one paragraph that's to note is right here. What Mr. His name is Japanese, but this is what he had to say about making the game. We've been going full speed ahead for over 11 years since the series launched, developing and updating 3 titles along the way. We thought it might be interesting to create something with a slightly different approach to gameplay, where you can really savor the action on your own. Splatoon isn't just about competitive play, it also includes cooperative modes like Salmon Run and a single player story mode. So, one of our motivations for developing this game was our desire to create a new entry point into the series by releasing these non competitive elements, not just as a secondary feature, but as a standalone spin off. That said, we will continue to develop competitive gameplay going forward. That's why we developed this game as a spin off, not as Splatoon 4. So you hear it from straight from the developer that the next series is going to be called Splatoon 4. And the reason why I wanted to touch on this as a developer is because I'm going to come back to this later on, especially when we get to talking about Deep Cut. So before we get into our general impressions on the story, Somber, I wanted to ask you, back when I can't remember the date, but back when one of the directs that happened back in the past, they introduced a new title for Splatoon, the spin-off of Splatoon Raiders. So my question for you is, what was your initial thoughts when you heard that they were going to be making a spin-off?
So my initial thoughts were, yeah, whatever. I mean, sure, I'll play it. Whatever. Uh, we'll see. I knew I was gonna play it. I didn't know for sure I was gonna buy it day one, but I knew I was gonna play it, and I knew it would be fun. But I wasn't like, I wasn't like, ooh, this is just fantastic. I was just like, I'm gonna play it. It's gonna be fun. Whatever. Whatever. That's my initial impression.
Yeah, that's.
I'm just
Oh,
I'm
oh,
gonna just
sorry.
leave it at that. I'm just leave it at that. That was my initial impression. Whatever. It should be fine. I'll play it. Whatever.
Yeah, I thought the same thing too. I was like, I was like, okay, this is different Because I was like, usually it's just the next game, but to do a whole complete spin-off, usually when they do something kind of like, side order or any type of alternate story, it's usually included in a DLC. And this isn't a full price Switch 2 game. That's another thing. So I'm like, is this just going to be like just DLC but just expanded? I didn't know what to expect. But I knew I would like it and I was going to get it regardless because I am a Splatoon fan. So, speaking of which, we're going to touch upon our history with the Splatoon series. So, you and I, we did a spoiler cast for the Splatoon 3 story mode right around when the Grand Festival happened. So, if you guys want to check out our thoughts about that, go check it out. We have a whole spoiler cast dedicated for Splatoon 3. But for those who are new to our spoiler cast routine that we're bringing here, we wanted to kind of talk about that. So, for me, I didn't get started with Splatoon 1. I got started with Splatoon 2. And the reason why I didn't get started with Splatoon 1 was because when I initially saw it back on the Wii U, I'll be honest, I thought it looked lame. I thought it looked stupid. I'm like, I'm not getting involved with this. You mean to tell me that they had this secret new IP that they were working on and this is what we get? I wanted nothing to do with it. I'm like, I'm staying away from it and I'm moving on. I think, shoot, I moved on to either Super Mario 3D World or Xenoblade Chronicles X. One of those two games, I'm like, I'm not going to bother with this, with this Splatoon nonsense. Here, fast forward a little bit and we get to the Switch era. Now Splatoon got a sequel. I'm like, are you kidding me? This dumb looking title got a sequel? I was so surprised about that. And I'm like, no, I stayed away from it. I ignored it, whatever. And then it wasn't until somebody introduced it to me, and the way he did it, it was kind of like a little bit of a surprise because he's like, look, just try out the story mode and just see what you think. And so I grabbed the controller, I rolled my eyes because I knew I was going to have just a horrible time with it. And I got to play in the story mode, and I was like, okay, I guess it's not too bad. And for the most part, it wasn't. So, good. And the reason why he put me in story mode was to kind of give me the basic controls and see how everything worked, right? And so then he allowed me to play in Turf War. He's like, don't worry, you're not going to mess up my file or anything. Just play it. And he's like, even if you don't win, just experience it. I was like, fine, all right. Now, whether if my team won or not, which probably it did not happen, we probably got schooled, but that was the most fun I ever had in a long time on the Switch series. Oh my goodness. It like opened my eye to a whole new world. So shortly after he introduced me to that game, I went out and got it right away. And gosh, I think I racked up easily like 150 hours within like the first week. I was so hooked on it. And I played that game every single day. I stayed up late. I was trying to climb in, it wasn't called Anarchy back then. I think they were just called ranked battles. So I was doing ranked, I did story mode, I bought the DLC, loved Octo expansion. Fast forward again to Splatoon 3. Um, Same love, same nonsense that goes on when you get random teammates, but I still enjoy the series. Even to this day, I still enjoy the competitive mode, but just playing Turf War, spreading ink. Um, every now and again, I throw my hat in the ring during Anarchy battles, the story mode, having Off the Hook come back, and the love for Splatoon is still there. So that is basically my history with the series. So Somber, why don't you go ahead and touch on what your history with Splatoon is?
Okay. So I had Splatoon 1 on the Wii U. And I liked it. I didn't play it that often. I didn't buy it for me. I bought it for the kids. I knew that they'd like it, and they played it, and it's no problem. Um, I guess it hadn't really stuck its claws in me, but I did like it. Just like. But it was that my initial impression of the game was that it was just a kiddie game, with ink. Do you remember a game called The Blob? You ever heard of that
Vaguely,
game?
vaguely.
It was like I want to say it was on either the GameCube, PlayStation era,
Hmm.
something like that. PlayStation 2 maybe,
Hmm.
and it was very similar to that, but it was platforming with ink or something along those lines. So it
Oh.
kind of put me in the mind of that game, and the
Oh.
game was fun.
Hmm.
Don't get me wrong, it was fun, but it took a while before it stuck its claws in me. Like I had to actually do a deep dive into the game because, like for instance, if I put you right now in an Arnacry battle and all you have is a sniper and you got four really bad teammates, you're not going to have an enjoyable experience.
Hmm.
You see, it's like that. So once I started using every weapon, then I'm like, okay, I really like this game. Because then it becomes rock, paper, scissors, you know. Like, oh, okay, you come through with your dualies. All right, here comes the bow. You come through with the bow. Okay, here comes the sniper. You come through with the sniper. Here comes the Splatana right on top of you. You know what I mean? It's like, it's very, very interesting. Um, and that's to say nothing about the music. I think the music is what really pushes it over the edge because um you can have a fine game and most games have decent music. Like you pretty much have a bad game if you don't have good music. But this music is like blow your socks off good. You know what I'm saying? Like not just one uh not just one of the Splatoon games. The music in general. It's like I would go to a concert and listen to these songs. Like I listen to these songs right now. Like if I'm on a road trip next weekend, I'm gonna be listening to some Splatoon songs, and I'm gonna be, of course, I'll be reliving my PTSD of having bad teammates on the stage or something. But still, this music will blow your socks off, and that really makes a difference. So you couple good gameplay, right, with a robust battle system with good music, you cannot lose. There's no losing here. So, like I said, my first one was Splatoon 1. I did not get Splatoon 2 just because I don't know, it was just a period where I wasn't really buying that many games. Like I've always been the type, to buy one game and play it constantly. So if I have a game that I'm locked in on, I don't need to buy another game because I'm not ready to stop the game I'm playing. So I'm not gonna buy another game. And if I buy a game, I'm gonna play it. It's just that simple. So I did not buy Splatoon 2. And at the time I was gonna get Splatoon 2, it was like a month or two before Splatoon 3 came out. So I was like, you know what? I'll just wait. It's fine. Um, So that's my history with Splatoon. I did Splatoon 1, then did Splatoon 3, and now I'm playing Splatoon Raiders. So
Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Those elements that you touched on, yeah, were the same elements that I appreciate about the Splatoon series as a whole. Yeah, that music, ooh, I still listen to that music till this day. So, that was our history with the Splatoon series. Now to finally get into the meat, which is Splatoon Raiders, our general impressions on the story. So, for the most part, especially when it comes to Nintendo games, because I know a lot of people expect like this deep diving story that's gonna either make them cry or change their life or some other nonsense like that. But just like with Bonanza and all the other great Nintendo games that's out there right now, it was a very simple story. It was a very mysterious one at that too, because I still remember when they talked about it on the direct, how deep cut. And my first thought was, wait, they're coming back? That was my first thought. I was like, they're coming back? And so, they get pulled into this island and everything, and you know, they get stranded. And I remember I was following the comic books, and the comic was pretty humorous. They had some funny elements to it, and it was nothing that affected like the actual main game. But I really thought that the story was just pretty simple, and it's like, okay, we're just out here, just treasure hunting or whatnot, and then you get to these bosses, and it gave off some sort of clue about this pretty much this grand treasure that's out there, and you go with a member of Deep Cut. You went in the order of Shiver, Fry, and then Big Man. And after you defeated the boss and uncover this clue about what this big treasure is, they eat for some mysterious reason the the clue wanted each one of those members to sing a version of their own song. So they got to singing, and it was really nice. I was like, okay. And especially as you're getting through, there wasn't much story elements to it. It was like, okay, you're just back on, these different islands, raiding, getting as much treasures, upgrading your equipment, the hideout, everything. And right before you get to the final area, one thing that I do want to highlight is that I did try to interact with Deep Cut, before and after my raids just to see what they said, and it was interesting how they always talked about, not only just life on the Spiralight Islands, but even stuff that um, dealt with previous Splatfest events. So Shiver will probably make mention like, "Oh yeah, if you want to know who the leader is, I am." I was like, "Yeah, I participated in that Splatfest. I was trying to get Big Man to win, but it is what it is. She was leader." And then even like their personalities, because even like the Splatfest that dealt with like if you were on a stranded island, what would you bring? Gear, grub, and fun. And we were on a stranded island, a stranded isolated place, and they brought those things. And so that was something that I always like to kind of mess with in between raids and just interacting with them. So once we got to the ending of it, you and oh, first off, I gotta mention you and we did the whole thing together. We went through, pretty much the first stage all the way to the end. So you and we got to experience it with each other throughout the whole game. And I know for me, it just got really mysterious, kind of scary, because sometimes these Splatoon games, they do get a little dark and scary. So I'm like, what on earth is going to happen? And sure enough, it did. Because that monster, the Sand Monarch, that's what he was called. All that thing was disgusting. His little hands, he would move his little hands, and he would just, and then he had three hands, and then it would open, and oh, it was so disgusting. But my goodness, and we're gonna touch more about the final boss later on. But I just wanted to just to highlight how mysterious and crazy that was, and everything that happened. It just blew my mind. And once you get done with the story, then they're still getting some information and some clues that hey, there's even more treasures to seek out. So that's the part that you and I are at. We're at the part where we're trying to discover this next legendary treasure before Deep Cut and the mechanic go back to Splatsville. So that was my impressions of the story. How about for you? What was your impressions?
Um, so my impression of the story was, um, I thought that it was impressive because there doesn't usually seem like a lot you can do with a Splatoon story, really, because
Mhm.
it's usually, you do a little something, something, you take the enemy down, whatever. But the treasure elements, it highlighted the intricacies of each individual member of Deep Cut, right? Um, it showed how, they come together and like at the end when they did the special that was all three of them. Oh, it was just fantastic. It was just fantastic. Like, I mean, the way that it all came together, you get to know the members of Deep Cut individually, which is very cool for me. Then you kind of figure out what the golden egg and the treasure was all about. And that was really cool. I do agree that that boss was very disgusting, but he was powerful, and it was it was just fantastic, really. It wasn't some deep and enriching story as per the Splatoon series generally is,
Right.
but it was definitely fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's just so much elements that they put into this game as far as story wise. Because, like I said, we even had that similar reaction to when Donkey Kong Bonanza happened. And that's what I appreciate about these games the most. Nothing wrong with like big cinematic games that are like almost like watching a movie. Nothing wrong with that at all. But I appreciate it when it's just more when it's like little less story but heavily focused on the gameplay because that's all what I'm all about. I'm gameplay first. Gameplay person first, story second. That's just how I work. So yeah, I totally agree that this story was definitely fantastic for sure. So now we're going to get into our next portion where we're going to talk about the gameplay mechanics we like and didn't like. Probably more likes than didn't like, but man, I'll actually let you start.
Hey, so gameplay mechanics. This is the meat of the game. So I could really talk about this all day, but so the you get to choose your weapon. It's that simple.
Yep.
There's no weapon that just does not work, except maybe the sniper, because you kind of it's too many enemies to be trying to use a sniper, especially like steel eels because they coil around you and you got to get to the back of them. It's very difficult to do that with a sniper. So, um, yeah, so you my go-to had been the jet squelcher, but
Mm-hmm.
you can do just as much with the dualies, the roller, any of the shooters, the bow, the Sultana. You can do massive work with every one of them. That is fantastic. They made it where you can use all of these weapons. That is great. Now, um, the the gameplay itself, you get to use the tanks, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that is the best thing I've seen so far in a Splatoon game. Getting to use each tank because at first, I ran tactics most of the time. So I'm using all like automated weapons. So they're basically clearing space for me so that I could tee off at the enemies, right? Then I switched over to speed and I'm like, yo, I can zip around this stage. It's like I'm skating. The enemies are chasing me because if you're surrounded, you can just retreat to a higher place and tee off on them. That is great. And then with power, you can be surrounded. You pull out that splatchet, bye bye. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be the last boss. You pull out the splatchet. Nope. Nope, you ain't touching me. That's why the last boss is far away from you because he probably was scared of that splatchet. But um, yeah, so it's like, hmm, eh, so I'm gonna bridge this into gameplay mechanics that I don't like. So I would say originally that I may not have liked something like the dash bomb, for instance. I would say maybe I didn't like that at first. But then when you use the challenge stages and you have to use that, it grew tenfold on me. So now I love them all. There's no particularly gameplay and mechanics that I don't like, except maybe like except maybe like having a Mars below you and having a rainmaker above you. So if you got tinted missiles raining down on you while a Mars is happening, that's a bit of a problem. It's a
Mm-hmm.
bit of a problem. That has hit me several times. So that's why I wouldn't use a sniper, for instance, because if you got a sniper in that scenario, what are you gonna do? Like really, what are you gonna do in that situation?
Right.
Um, so it's there's not much about the gameplay mechanics that I did not like.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like takes a bit of getting used to. Like for instance, the high fiver. When I first got it, I was like, "What is this thing? I'm not using this. What do you even do with this?" And then yeah, I did the compass level with the high fiver, and I'm like, "Okay, I like the high fiver now. It's great, no problem." And then the same thing with the propeller. I'm like, I don't know if I want to use this. Just doesn't really seem to fit my play style. And then we did that one match where we were flying the whole match and we were teeing off at the enemies, the big shot. So, yeah, well, I could work with it. So I like how it adapts to each situation. It was almost like they knew exactly what kind of situations you were going to face. And they were like, yeah, we're going to give you a well rounded set. Because I mean, I wasn't really sold on a tether wall at first, but
Mm.
now I will not. I hardly ever do a match without the tether wall because that thing is great. So, um, that's really all I have to say about the gameplay. Like it is just robust and it's so adaptable. So you can have all kinds of added effects. You can reduce the cooldown. You can have them show up automatically. You can clear space. So if you're surrounded, you can hold on to one. Like for instance, the shellacker, which is basically a mini booyah bomb. That it's another one that I was like, I'm not gonna use this, and then after a while, I'm like, okay, well, I'm taking it with me now. So it's like that's happened to me for every single gear in the game. I was like, no, I don't think I'm going to use this. And then after that, I'm okay, okay, I'm going to use this every time. It happens every time. So I really like that. That is the best part of the game is the gear. I thought it would just be this little small little system, but you don't even some matches you don't even have to use your own weapon. You can just use your gadgets and just be like, okay, I'll take you out, no problems. Yeah, so that's what I got to say about the gameplay mechanics.
Nice. Yeah, you really touched on a lot of good points. And as far as me, okay, this would be easier just to kind of get it out the way. I just have one complaint, just one. And it's not something that takes away from the gameplay at all. It's not something that um made me think less of the game. Is if anything, this is more of a nitpicking. It is. But I'm gonna say it. So the one problem that I had with this game is the compass. Not the compass challenges, the compass itself. In particular the blue one. That was so annoying because and we were doing a raid and I found this blue compass and I'm like how what I'm like what do you do with this thing? And I did the thing that I hate doing when it comes to gaming. I had to look it up. And even when I looked it up, people were all like, "Well, yeah, you kind of have to use a little bit of luck to find them." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" So I think we spent some time on it, and then I'm like, you know what? I'll deal with this later. And then you came to me the next day when we were doing another raid. You were like, "Yeah, I just moved it around. And I just happened to find the challenge." I'm like, "What?" And so I tried to do the same thing. I was like, let me look, and then yeah, it's like it's supposed to be like a kind of like a hot and cold, like if it's full, that means you're warm. If it's low, it's cool. But it was so annoying, and I'm still finding compasses even after I beat the game, and it's still those blue compasses, and they are so annoying to deal with. But once I got to the compass challenge, I pretty much got over it and had fun. But that's like my only complaint about it. It's like, couldn't we do like kind of like a sonar ordeal, or kind of like a Dragon Ball Z radar, where you know how like in Dragon Ball Z they would have the Dragon radar to flash. I was like, we couldn't have something similar to that, because the one with the arrows, that was just fine. If they would have had all compasses just with the arrows, the needle, whatever it is, I would have been okay with it. But that was the only thing that annoyed me, was those blue compasses. The orange were a little annoying, but they weren't as bad as the blue one. So that's like my only nitpick about it. My only one. But yeah, um, as I may mention to you and to several others, for me, these gameplay mechanics, it wasn't an addiction. It was an obsession. An obsession. It was bad. I haven't felt this hyped over a Splatoon game since Splatoon 2 when I first picked it up. That's how much I enjoyed this game, because I stayed up, I kid you not, it was about like maybe like 4 or 5 nights in a row. I was staying up till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning playing this game. It was so bad. And even when I was like, okay, even while I was sleeping in a vampire style, I was still tossing and turning, thinking like, well, if I do this, if I tinker this, if I do this, maybe if I could twist this out, maybe I did allocate some points over to here. And there were some times I was thinking about getting back up, be like, I could just do this one more thing, but I was like, no, no, let me get to sleep. And man, talk about my low productivity for the for the week. It was gone because it was solely focused on Splatoon Raiders, because a, lo- a lot of the elements that's implemented in the games with the three different tanks, the weapons, fighting the enemies, finding treasures, upgrading your equipment, upgrading your skill points, your hideout, it just felt so satisfying. And that's the thing about this game is that it was just very simple, and each different tank has its own unique play style. And what I liked about each different tanks is that, you know, depending on which ones you have, they do cater it to people who might be new to the Splatoon series, because let's face it, the Splatoon series has been mainly a PvP action game, and people get intimidated by it. So they're like, you know what? I don't do PvP. I stay away from it. And so, if you're listening to this spoiler cast right now and you're thinking about whether if you want to try this Splatoon game without any competitive elements, I say go for it. It has no competitive elements whatsoever. You all go treasure hunting. I like finding the treasures. I like exploring the relics. Even big man, and I'm pretty sure most people probably skip it because they don't like to read, but I like to read and find out, like, you know, some of these scrolls that happen. And those scrolls were pretty interesting. I told you about the one where they talked about the Grand Festival. I was like, oh, and it said there, like, yeah, we're, you know, it was a bittersweet moment that we lost, but we're still looking to the future. So it was little stuff like that, and then you know, reading those scrolls, upgrading your gadgets, upgrading your weapons, scraping them if you need some more Spiralight shards, and even the shards, even though that was the currency, it wasn't too hard to get them because there's certain stages that you can go and just farm Spiralight shards all day long. And then even the mechanic of getting help, and I don't like to work with random people, but if that's something that you're interested in, you can get help from, you know, other players to kind of help you out with a raid. Whether if your raid successful or not with them, it depends on the player. But I did think that that was a very neat mechanic that they added. And say for instance, if you don't want help from a random player, you know, I could just call you up, or, you know, call a friend up, be like, hey, I'm struggling with this raid, I'm only level 7, I know you're like level 40. And that's the thing, it's like they tailor, no matter what level you are, they tailor it to your own level. So even though I may be level 7 and Somber, you're level 44, you're still going to fight level 44 enemies, and I'm still going to fight level 7 enemies. So it's really interesting that they all intertwine that. I'm like, these developers, that's why I had to look at these developers interview, because I was like, this is such a genius mechanic. Like, where did you guys find the inspirations? And they talked about it too, about all the implements that people enjoyed about Salmon Run, even the Anarchy battles, Rank battles, Turf War. They wanted to include everything in this game, and it worked. It really did, because, like I said, you don't have to be a pro Splatoon player in order to enjoy this game. This could be someone's first Splatoon game, because some people kind of get irritated and mad, saying like, why do we have to go through a tutorial stage? What, they don't know we don't know how to play Splatoon? Well, speaking from experience, I didn't play the first Splatoon, so I kind of had to learn. Splatoon 3 you had to go through a tutorial. And what's funny was that even when I was going through the tutorial, um it was so funny because it was like, okay, this is just basically a Splatoon game. So I was like, okay, I was having an okay time. But it wasn't until I got to the part where our good buddies, Monkey Thunder and Blue Toad, came in. And if you know that Dragon Ball Z episode where Gohan, after Cell killed Android 16, and Gohan watched, and there was a line that drew that drew in the back of his head, and glass shattered. That's what happened to me. I'm like, this game. I snapped. I was like, this game is so much fun.
Absolutely.
It was so cool. Even the celebration when you guys get a treasure, how you guys are doing your poses and that music. It was so satisfying. Holy cow. That's the part that I kind of snapped on. And then when we got the treasure and got the gadgets, I was like, I can equip these gadgets, and I can do with this. And that's what happened. My mind was going. It was constantly going. So, yeah, I nearly lost my breath talking about all that, but man, these gameplay mechanics were incredible. Incredible. And
Let me just add
go
one
ahead.
thing. Just one thing. There's nothing quite like you being in a bad situation,
Hmm.
right? So you're surrounded by enemies
Hmm.
and you get a showstopper, full gauge. There is nothing like it.
The
I mean,
showstopper.
every one of them, because you know that one stage, we were playing together on that one stage where all the enemies were on a corridor, and there was
Hmm.
so many of them. You pulled out Shiver, and she mowed them all
Oh
down.
yeah.
That was There's just nothing like it. And then it's like and it accentuates their personalities because Shiver's like, oh, that's them. Okay, I'll take care of it. And Big Man, he's just happy go lucky. You're on top of him and you're invincible and you're just taking down enemies. And
Hmm.
then Fry is like, oh, here it comes. Boom. And
Hmm.
it's just great how that goes. It's just there's nothing like it.
Exactly. And yeah, that's a good point that you mentioned about the showstoppers because what's funny is that each one of them is basically the specials that we get from the Splatoon series, but when Deep Cut does it, it just amplifies it because it's like Shiver is kind of like the Reef Slider. I think Fry is kind of like a splashdown, triple splashdown, and Big Man's like the Kraken, but they just magnified it, right? And then that's another thing was that they included you can bond with them. So the more you use them, the more you get close to them, and they get stronger. They'll have like a cutscene where you kind of interact with them, and they'll kind of have you kind of have like this heart to heart talk with them. I thought that was a really nice touch, and you kind of get to learn about them because after you bond with them, there will be a scroll about their clan. And it was interesting to learn about each one of their clans because that was just something that we got at Splatoon 3. Like, I think they probably mentioned it and we probably heard about it, but for them to go deep dive into about which each clan did, like Shivers came from a clan where they were shark tamers. Fry came from a clan where they would tame eels, and Big Man, they were just all about, just freedom and dancing. And I don't know if you saw that one scroll, but I wanted to know who Mrs. Big Man was because there was like this female manta ray with like that I don't want to call it a church hat, but it was like a big old hat and some lipstick. I was like, who's Mrs. Big Man? And so it was kind of funny. So it was kind of interesting to learn about them. And yeah, those showstoppers abilities, man, they've gotten me out of so many sticky situations because they give you the option where it's like, okay, you build it up, and it's like, do I want to use it or do I want to save it for the next sub layer? And this is where I told you I was like, I got some Donkey Kong Bonanza vibes because you're digging down, you're digging down, digging down. But it was cool that you got that option where you can kind of carry it over to the next sub layer if it's like, okay, I think we got this, or no, I'm in a dangerous situation. Let me go ahead and use it. And another thing I always say whenever we're doing salmon run, even if you use it and we didn't quite need it, it's always best to use it without you using it and risking the chance of losing out on the raid. So, did you have anything else to add about the gameplay mechanics that you like?
I think that was it.
Okay. Oh, well, okay, never mind. We'll touch on that later. It was just something I thought about, but it's actually in what we're going to talk about later on. Okay, so next
Right,
one.
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay, next one is music and art direction. Um, this game does what Splatoon does best with the music because, like I said about my impressions on the story, it was very mysterious, and even when I was listening to the music for the special release of Splatoon Raiders, it wasn't like one of those bangers because that was like what's funny was that was one of the complaints that I did hear was like, oh, the music's not too good, blah 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 blah. I'm like, well, I mean, as much as I would love to hear off the hook shark bites in this game, I don't think it would have fit for this vibe of this game because you're on this stranded island, you with limited resources, so the music was very eerie, but there was some music that I really thought had a good vibe to them. Like the boss battle music. My heart would be racing every time we did those boss battles. Even now, um, I was on a I was playing with somebody and we did a boss battle, and his name is Lens of Truth. We did a boss battle, and it was just me and him. And that boss battle was like that boss himself was like 60, and I think Lens was about level 40. He was like in the high 40s, but we're like, let's just try it. It only took us 2 tries, but man, it was hard. But we'll get into that later. But boss battle music was great. Even like the Compass Challenge music, nice vibe to him. I love the Compass Challenge music. Trying to think what other ones. I thought the different areas that you went to, lava, ice, which I thought that was interesting. I was like, I'd never played a Splatoon game where we dealt with ice and lava. That blew my mind because I'm like, you squirt some water on them, they're dead. But
Exactly. You think water's bad enough?
now you're bringing fire and ice. Holy cow! But I thought those areas looked fantastic, and even like the enemies. If their main mission was to gross us out with these enemies, they did a really good job. Oh, these enemies. They are the most disgusting looking enemies I've ever seen in a Splatoon game, but that goes to show that they did a really good job in their art directions with these enemies. So overall, and then there was just some parts I was like kind of in awe, nice vistas that you can look at. I think, overall with the music and the art direction, I thought they did fantastic. How about you?
So, music wise, um, definitely enjoyable. Um, it's Splatoon is that music that you can listen to outside of Splatoon,
Mm-hmm.
and this is no different. Um, although I probably prefer Squid Sisters and Off the Hook music,
Mm-hmm.
deep because music has risen way up there for me. Like it's just about there with the Squid Sisters and Off the Hook for me. So I was definitely on board with this music direction. It fit it fit the aesthetic, just like you mentioned. And now then, as far as the art, of course the game is fantastic looking. Um, this does not feel like a non full price game. Let me add that as well. I know they were experimenting, but this is not a demo. This is not a tech demo. This is a full on game, and I like that. As far as the art direction, I like the way that they changed each character, so they have a different kind of. You're used to seeing them in you know, their Splatfest outfits where, they dress like all kinds of different stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
seeing them in a different kind of regular getup, that's very interesting. Because the game definitely made Deep Cut as a whole grow on me. So both music and art direction. Because with Deep Cut in the beginning, I was like, they're not really doing it for me. Plus, they're trying to kill me when I meet them. I don't know. I don't know about these people. It's like their music is just okay. But it's no Off the Hook and it's no Squid Sisters, but okay. And then it's like, you know, um, at this time around, Shiver is the popular one. Let's just put it that way. Shiver is the popular one. So when people would be like, "Yeah, um, I like Shiver," and I'm like, "What? Hello, police?" But now I'm like, you know what? I can get with every one of them. I always like Big Man because he's cool. And the one little thing that I'll add, I love their reactions to when you're spraying them with ink. I love how Big Man, I love how Big Man is like, give it to me, and, and, and Shiver's trying to cover up her fries, but Big Man is like, hey. I just think that is just a fantastic little touch. Just like when DK Bonanza, when you can high five the monkeys. It's the
Yes.
same little things. Just the smallest little touch, and I think that was great.
Okay. So you like the music and the art direction, yeah. Like I said, and even though these were very like small, compacted areas, and some areas were bigger than others, I thought overall they did an amazing job. And oh, and let me touch upon the ink, in particular the enemy ink. Oh, that ink looks disgusting. Oh, it looks like sewage and potty. It looks disgusting. I wouldn't even be surprised if that ink stank. It probably smells like a sack of butt cheeks. It looked disgusting. Oh gosh, because I remember when I first saw it, I was like, that ink. Oh my gosh, like your mechanic has that regular ink. That's the one we're all used to. But that enemy ink, even like not even the salmon run ink is that gross looking. It's green. That's about it. But it's not that gross looking. And then you have some enemies that just swimming in it, and then some of the bosses, like the first one, the Flappetizer, and it's all covered, and he makes that tornado ink. It just looks like a swirl of potty just going around. I know. I'm sorry if I'm really getting a little vulgar with that, but I'm like, it just looks so gross. And yeah, if you touch
It
that ink,
really
it does
does.
hurt. There's probably some sort of bacteria or disease that you can catch from that ink.
You're probably right. Yes, you are exactly right. That ink is disgusting looking. So when you see but it makes you want to destroy the enemies even more. Like when you see the
Hmm.
stinger aiming with that stream at you, it's like,
Yes.
ew, get that stuff away from me. Ew.
Oh my goodness. We're going to touch upon the enemies a little later on, but that was our impressions of the music and the art direction. Now to the next one. It's the crane and arcade games. Ooh, boy. That crane game. Somber. I had to be careful because when I played that crane game on stream, that was going to be the rest of the stream because I got so addicted to it.
Yes.
Something
Yes.
about operating that crane and grabbing the boxes and then bringing it back to the hideout and getting either spiralite shards or a gadget. I almost spent the rest of the time just doing that because um a little bit about me, like I'm a pseudo fisherman in game, not in real life, but in game. I love like, fishing for stuff and trying to dip in to see what I can get. This crane game did it. It's a very simple game. It's not even the main game, but oh my gosh, I could spend a good hour just playing this game. Just farming boxes. I'm not good at it. I was trying, and then I'm like, no, I gotta move on because I was like, I'm gonna spend the rest of the stream here. And then, did you get a chance to play all four arcade games?
Yes.
Which one did you like the most?
Um, which one I like the most? It's hard to say. I think I like the juggler
Oh gosh, that
the most.
juggling,
But
where
it's
it's like,
because it's so difficult. But it's because it's so
it
difficult. That's why I
is,
like it. It's
it
like
is.
I love them all. Don't get me wrong. I
Me
love them
too.
all. It's just something about the juggler. I'm so there. I'm there.
Yep.
Just give me yes, yes.
They dropping
Ah,
the
it's
stuff and
so
you're
good.
like you're like trying to bounce it. You gotta use both joysticks to kind of aim. It's like then more's coming and you're like trying to, yeah, yep, I get it, I get it. They're all
Yes.
fantastic. And what's funny was that Fry talked about putting together an arcade. I was like, oh, listen, a little Fry, whatever, ha ha, whatever. But when I saw that you could actually make it, I was like, oh, she wasn't kidding.
Exactly. Exactly. Cause I was like, okay, an arcade in the middle of nowhere. What are we doing here? What is
Yeah,
this?
I'm thinking she
But
just being whatever.
and then you could do it, and I'm like,
I was like,
oh, and
oh,
it kind of gave me DK64 vibes, because
yes.
you know sometimes you had to play Jetpack and the original DK in order to get stuff in the game. So I was
Hmm.
like, yeah, I can rock with this, and those games are fun. I can play them all for hours. Like once you
Absolutely.
figure out the trick behind the game,
Hmm.
play them for hours. I'm still working on getting them all A rank, but um
That's what I need to do too. Okay.
yeah, but they are fun. Like I can, it doesn't matter if I'm winning or losing.
Yeah.
I'm just love. Like when you bouncing on top of the UFOs, on the not the juggler, but the second one. I forget what it was called. Hopper, I think that's it.
I think so. Yeah.
Cause it's like digger or driller and then
Hmm.
hopper, something like
Hmm.
that. But yeah, um, yes, I love it. I love them all.
Absolutely, because man, those arcade games, they're so simple, it's so fun. Like I said, only the developer teams can do this because they also made an arcade game like that before Splatoon 2, which everybody was, including myself, we were all disappointed that they didn't bring back Squid Beats. That was an arcade game in Splatoon 2, and if you well, I don't know if you ever visited Inkopolis Square. Oh, that's right, you don't have the DLC. Um, I was gonna say, if you ever visited the Inkopolis Square, you could see it. It's like it's right there that they're playing Squid Beats, but you can't play the game. I'm like, oh come on!
I see.
It's just there for kind of aesthetics and everything. And I was like, oh, y'all couldn't bring that over, man. But yeah, those arcade games, they were fun. In our group, I think either myself or you start this, but we have in our server high scores. I think we should do one for high scores for each one of those games and see what kind of crazy
You
scores
know,
are.
I think you are right about that.
I would like
I
to see what
agree.
our people
Yes.
scores would be.
Yes.
So yeah, the crane game, addictive, arcade game, fantastic. Okay. So, favorite areas that we like to raid. So, for me, the one that I always went to the most was actually the volcano area. Because, like I said, I was like, volcano and lava in a Splatoon game. I literally had to sit there and marinate in that world. Not in the lava, just in the world. um because it was just so interesting how it's like we got this fire and brimstone in a Splatoon game, and I would always the one raid I always went back to was the one where you're mining the spiralite shards, and I would just go to that one continuously. And then it was so cool that they had those the rocks that where you can it just had nothing but just like air pressure, and so you would just kind of hop in the air current and ride them and go to like the different little islands. I thought that was really really cool how you were able to do that. And then enemies would spawn, and then you would just be mining the shards and collecting your power eggs and building up your showstopper. So definitely the volcano one was definitely my favorite to go back to. I loved all the areas that we visited too, and even like the last area was, like I said, it's very mysterious but pretty interesting too. It was basically a boss gauntlet, but it's another place I could still go back and kind of hang out and use some of the enemies as target practice or trying out some gear, different things like that. So, what about you?
So I wouldn't say I have a specific area to raid.
Hmm.
What I like is the game's replayability. So, if somebody was like, hey, right now, I want to play this one stage, I've been unable to beat it, I'll play. No problem. I'm here. I'm on the way. Uh, so, and that note, I kind of like the ice because you can unlock some, you can unlock a little stuff here and there.
Hmm.
You get the little pillars that go into the ice and it unlocks. I kind of like that. I like that aspect of the game. But I like replaying the stages on spicy. That's what I really like because it's like,
Yes.
okay, yeah, I played this stage and I remember this stage, but then you play it on spicy, you're like, wait a minute, this is different. Oh, wait, whoa, I don't remember this part. This is okay. So, and then, you know, it's another kudos I want to give to this game.
Hmm.
Okay, you got spicy, right? And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a little tough, but I can handle it. And then we unleashed the super spicy.
Mm.
Boy, them stages are like, ooh, you sweating. You like, look, don't talk to me. I'm trying to finish the stage. Hey, we need some backup. We got to take this thing out. That is, yes, the super spicy raids. They are, they make this game. I'd say, um, that yeah, it's just fantastic.
That level spike
Uh,
in the super spicy. Whew. Like I
man,
said, I've only done one boss. I haven't even done the other ones, which is level 80s. I'm like, yeah.
right.
I haven't done that one. I even try to do a level 80 stage. Like just a stage, I can't do it. Even with help, I can't do it. So there's just some tweaking that I need to do with my builds and everything. So yeah, that super spicy aspect, yeah, absolutely. And I'm sorry, what other areas did you enjoy the most?
I really just kind of like the ice because it was just a nice change of pace.
Okay.
You know, little bit less traction. So um, I did enjoy the lava because of like you said, it was totally different. But and I did enjoy all the stages. Just the ice was a little different because you know, you got a little bit of platform in here, you got a little bit of ice here to where you couldn't spray ink on it. And so sometimes like, you know, you go to a little abandoned ice island and it's enemies right there. And it's like, whoa, and some of them are salty enemies. And it's like, whoa, this is crazy. So I kind of like that. I kind of like the change of pace that the ice levels brought. So, um, any stage though, I'd play it anytime, anywhere. So it just happened to be the ones that stood out the most was the ice stages.
Okay. Indeed, and that's I think the ice area is when they is where they introduced another new enemy because in this game they introduced a lot of new enemies which we're going to get into later on. But yeah, that's where they introduced that I call them forearms. That enemy. We'll talk about him later on, but okay, yeah. So yeah, fire, ice. There you have it. So now we're gonna get to another part of the game, which is our favorite tanks and builds that we use. I'm actually start with you on this one, Somber. What was your favorite tank that you used that you enjoyed throughout your entire playthrough, even from the Splatfest collab for Splatoon Raiders? What is the tank that you used the most?
That would be tactics.
Yeah,
There
why
was never any
tactics?
question for me. There was never any question for me as to whether I was going to like tactics, power, or speed. Power and speed are fine in their own right, but I'm a tactics person. I'm like, hey, let's come up with a plan, let's execute it. That's just the kind of person I am. So, uh, the when I find out you got the turrets, you can't beat that because that gives me a detraction for the enemies. You know, you got hundreds of enemies coming at you. I can send the turret over behind them because the turret will take bosses out for me while I'm aiming at them from the front. So then you do that with a tether wall. So let's say you got three, you got have a rule of three, right? You put a turret over to your left, okay? You got a tether wall where you are, and then you bring it over to the right. So you're aiming at enemies from the right. The turrets are shooting at them from the left, and then you got a tether wall pushing them through, mow them down, mowing them down. So tactics is the one for me. And then not only that, but then when you upgrade it, you can get the power. So you could use the spin wheel. You can use the mighty mitt, which is the triple splash down, or you can use the splatch it. Hey, what that's just how it needs to be. I totally love it. Now, that's not a knock on any of the other two tanks because they are definitely fantastic. It's just the tactics is just the way I like to roll.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think tactics too is a good it's a good tank for first time users because some people might get into this game and they're like, wait a minute, what do you mean I have to walk and look around? Some people legit have a hard time with it. So, that's why Splatoon is intimidating to them. But with the tactic builds, and yeah, you just let them send out turrets, the tether, and even the one that you mentioned earlier was the high fiver. You just send those out and let them work the enemies, and the turrets in particular have like the auto lock ability to just plow through enemies, and you can upgrade it to blasters and multi shots and firing range and fire rate up and all this other builds that you can do with it. I think it's a great overall, even if you're a veteran tactics user as yourself, is a very, very awesome choice to have is tactics because I use it from time to time for sure. Um, I think tactics in particular is a good one. So for those of you listening, if you're considering like, which build should I do? My recommendation is tactics because it comes with those turrets. So even though you have a member of D cut, that's another arsenal that you can use. You have a member of D cut with you, and you have a turn, and you have a tether, and all you have to do is just shoot the enemy. That's it. And then as time goes on, you can upgrade it to make them even better. So tactics is definitely the way to go, especially if you're a first time user. Now for me, from all the way during the Splatfest collab, I went with the speed tank. Trust me, I love tactics. I do, I do, I do. I love all the tanks. Don't get me wrong. I love all the tanks. But the reason why I use speed is because I just love just running around. For those of you who know me, I got my gaming career started through Sonic the Hedgehog, so I've always been a speedster. And any game that I play, I always try to include speed, whether if it's like even like Pokemon, like I always try to maximize their speed. I always want to be the trainer to go first. I always try to prioritize speed even in Pokemon games. So that's why I always just go with speed, and this game is no different. And you touched upon this earlier, Somber, because even I felt the same way when they introduced it in the Splatoon Raiders Direct about the dash bomb and the jump bomb. I'm like, okay, I'm like, all right. And even when I first got it and I used it, I was like, let me try it out. And I was like, and I tried it out and I immediately put it away. And just like you, it wasn't until we did those compass challenges, I was like, wait a second, maybe there's a little bit more to it. So I did a little investigating with the dash bomb in particular. And what it comes with is a lot of gadgets that is utility based. I was like, oh, this isn't a gadget that you're supposed to take enemies out with. This is a utility based gadget. So what I my build was that it comes with invincibility up. So after my dash is finished, I get 5 seconds of invincibility, and I also have it where I have two charges on them. So if I use them two in a row, it stacks. So now I have 10 seconds of invincibility. So it comes with that. It also comes with 5 seconds of main weapon damage up, as well as next damage weapon up. And pair that up with a relic ability, my weapon ability. I am practically one-shotting these enemies and getting out scot-free because I'm invincible. So if I have stingers raining down on me, I just use my dash ability. I was like, haha, you can't touch me. And I'm just mowing them down. Because once I use my dash ability, I get all my buffs from my main weapon and my gadgets. And I am just nuking these enemies. And so that's why those who see me raid, and when we go on these raids, you see me in like the cluster of enemies. I just go. That's how you're supposed to use it. Just go aggro in them because you're invincible and you're just mowing them down, spreading your ink. And if they come with like any type of like status conditions like scorch, freeze, or what's that, fermented, that's all I'm doing. I'm just going in aggro, using all of my abilities to their maximal potential. And so recently I've been exploring Power Tank a lot more too. And I'm like, this is a boss killer right here. The way I have my gadget set up with that, I'm like, these are boss killers. So if I'm struggling with like,
Yes.
go ahead.
On power, I've used the splatchet before,
Mm-hmm.
and the boss health was like, because you got the dash, right? You got the initial dash, and that does damage, and then
Mm-hmm.
you got the second dash that does damage, and then you got the overhead strike, and that does damage. So if you hit a boss with all three, it's like, doosh, doosh, doosh. It's like, whoa, this thing is crazy. That's probably why they don't let you use speed with power,
Yep.
because if you did
Yeah.
that, ooh, because if you could dash and get invincibility and then dash right into a splatchet. Yeah. Along with the shellacker. Yeah. 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 That
Did
is.
with the splasher, did you get the one? Did you equip the one with the vertical slash? Because that's another
Yep.
damage
Yep.
amplifier. Yeah, so
Yep.
it's like you dash, dash, boom, boom.
Yep.
And
That thing is dangerous.
yeah, and it's so cool with their little animation that they use the splashing with. It is awesome. And
Yeah,
so,
because it refreshes the cooldown very quickly,
yes.
and then so you can just wait till you're surrounded. You could be scrappers or whatever. You just like pow pow slash. It's like it feels like it almost feels like that dancing blade from one of the Fire Emblem characters.
Oh
That's what
yeah.
it feels like. That's what it feels like.
That's true. That is so true. Yeah, like I said, and I could just sit up here and talk hours about, oh, I'm experimenting with this, because like I said, when the game first came out, I was tossing and turning in my bed, just thinking about new ways that I could do this, that, the other. I'm exploring certain gadgets that I didn't use before. So in power, I'm experimenting more with the triple splashdown, that mitt. And
Hmm.
I got one where it's like it decreases in power, but you can't tell. But you could pretty much do like one, two, and then three.
Ooh,
And
I like that.
it says it decreases in power, and I was like, I don't see it because I still wipe out. I still wipe out the whole enemies with that, and it comes with freeze. So even if it doesn't kill them, there's a chance it'll freeze them.
Ooh, that is dangerous. I like that.
Yep, and then I finish them off with the splashing while they're frozen. Like I said, you
Okay.
can get
Yeah,
pretty brutal.
I've been experimenting with the speed builds, and
Mhm.
that's been pretty good because it very much depending on what kind of weapon you choose to use with speed build, really,
Yeah.
because um, you're dashing in and out of danger.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you can dash into danger.
Yep.
So you got to be able to handle it once you're in danger.
Yep.
But yeah,
And there's an
yeah,
ability with
it's
speed where if you're close to the salmonid, your damage goes up.
mm-hmm.
So
Yep,
like I said, I try to inculcate all that I'm doing with whatever build I'm using.
yep, yep,
So
and it works very well together. The synchronization of your weapon, like the dualies with the speed tank. Ooh,
and it
it
comes
is
with
a
the ability
nice
close
match.
combat. Ooh, ooh,
Yep,
man,
yep.
yeah. So I'm a speedster and you're a tactical user. And when you and we played together, you've seen how crazy I go. I be running around. I be running around everywhere, and I have that tether, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it has 5 different lasers, so it's like I'm running around, and I also included the gadget where it pulls the enemy when that tether's going off. So they're trying to chase me, but
Mm-hmm.
that tether's pulling them in.
Oh yeah, that
And
is fantastic.
yeah, our playstyle works. It works in it not only worked in Splatoon 3, but it also worked in Raiders 2. So yeah, so that was our favorite tanks and builds that we like to use. Like I said, when I'm a speedster, I just like to be invincible. You, you just become a one inkling army. You just shit out turrets,
Exactly.
and then you got deep cut, and you got you just let it go.
Exactly.
And you're
Because
just standing there. If you guys can't
by
get
the
past my
time
turrets, you won't be able to handle me.
exactly by the time, and then I got damage up like from far away. So I'm just teeing off
Oh.
at them with the jet squelcher, and it's doing like double damage almost from being far away. It's like you're not making it over here.
And this feels so satisfying when you hit them too. It's like, oh, it feels so
Yes.
good. But man, doing level 80s, I'm like, I gotta rethink my strategy here. So,
Yep.
uh, but yeah, overall, those are the builds that we like to use. So now let's get to the enemies and the boss battles. So, as I may mention earlier, they introduced some new enemies into this game. The pterodactyl and the smoker are the most obnoxious, most annoying enemies I've dealt with so far in this game. Holy cow! I mean, the stingers are already annoying enough. I'm like, now you got this bird that shoots this tornado and it's doing chip damage. Then you got the smoker who's doing chip damage, and it's like no matter what build you have, it's just depleting your health. And then some random salmon it just comes to smacks you with the frying pan and you're splattered. I'm like, oh come on. Oh my gosh. Yeah, these new enemies. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they have some unique designs. Like I said, they want us to gross us out with the enemies. Well done, mission accomplished. You did it because these enemies are gross. But yeah, they introduce some really interesting elements, and I remember I was watching a review video for Lens of Truth, and he mentioned about how the smoker, its attack is. I guess that's what Toxic Mist, that sub weapon from the Splatoon series, was supposed to be. You
Oh,
know,
that's true.
instead of it just just slowing down enemies, have it be like little chip damage. So I thought he made a really good point about that, and so yeah, and then I was gonna talk about this guy, forearms. Oh my gosh, that juggernaut! Where on earth did they pull him from? He has everything. He even has splat bombs. I was like, the mechanic doesn't even have splat bombs. Where'd he get them?
Yes.
Oh man, it's like he is a literal beast. He has splat bombs. He has he has a stinger. He has a stinger. He has like a bazooka. He can jump. He has the sound wave. I was like, this guy got it all. I was like, I'm surprised this isn't a boss battle. A boss, like it
Right.
is a boss summoning, but like one of the bigger ones. I'm surprised it wasn't one of those. But man.
Yeah, because he's got a splatling too.
Yeah, he got. Oh, that's another one. Thank you, Splatling. I knew I was missing something else. Yeah, he has a splat. He just. I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah,
Oh
that
man.
guy is rough.
Like I said, very interesting concept, and that's what I loved about this game. And it's just that whatever feeling that they wanted to give us in this game, they did it, and that's why I said it's definitely highly praised for sure. And as far as boss battles, I'll just touch on the one. And that's because this boss battle reminds me of the final boss from Side Order. It's I mean this is a spoiler cast, but I won't get too much into it. But in Side Order, the final boss is kind of similar to that ice boss battle, where it's just this little enemy, and it gathers power and it just becomes super big and super obnoxious to deal with. And so and that ice boss battle, I forgot what's called. Oh, the desert. I think that's called, right? The desert, the
Um, that's it. That's hurt.
and even when you get it out of its icy form, and it's making that little squealy noise. I'm like, ugh, it makes me cringe every time I hear it. And then you shoot it, it gets even more high pitched. I'm like, ugh. And then
Yep.
but yeah, that boss battle, whew, that was a hard one. And what was interesting was that when it did that, I always call it the hyper beam. When it did this little hyper beam, it would keep going, keep going. It would freeze the enemies too. So I was like, oh, you hurting these enemies too. And it was just a lot going on. You had to shoot the hammer, then his little fin would come out. I'm like, man, it was just such an interesting design, but it just reminded me so much of Side Order because it was closely linked to how that boss battle mechanic was. And so, then we are also talking about the I was trying to think of what that bird thing was. Flappetizer. Flappetizer. That was a
Yep.
good first boss. Very
Yes.
challenging. Very,
Yep. Because
very.
I'd be
Go ahead.
like, why is my health? My health would be like, I'm like,
Yes.
what? The dude's up in the sky. Why is my health like? There's no salmonids around me. Why is my health going? I'm like, what is this? What are y'all doing? But yeah,
Hmm.
because he was using hurricane. I guess it must have been raining. It must have been raining because it was like Flabbertizer used hurricane. There was all kinds of wind going around. I'm like, wow, that chip damage was a doozy.
Exactly. That's why I said these new that I know it has a proper name, but that pterodactyl. Oh, that's such an annoying enemy to deal with. Because yeah, it just kept doing
Hmm.
chip damage, and then like I said, then it does that big old tornado. You would think that you avoid it, but no, that thing is huge. It has a huge AOE. I was like, man,
Hmm.
I've been in danger so many times. I got knocked out because I got hit by it. And then I really like this is one thing that I do appreciate about these boss battles. You can't just one shot them. As much as you probably could, you can't one shot them because once they get to a certain amount of health, then they put up some sort of defensive barrier, and then you have to hunt down power eggs. Then you would have to have one of the members of Deep Cut use the drill attack to neutralize whatever shield that they have, and then they'd be stunned for a couple whiles. I thought that gameplay loop was pretty awesome because it's not like, okay, I can't just sit up here and just use an E-leader just one shot it out of the sky. No, 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 no,
Yep.
no. They won't let you do
And
that.
what was the one's name that was the crazy train?
The
The one
Pain
with wheels?
Scorcher.
Pain Scorcher. That thing got on my nerves. Ooh,
Mine
because
too.
he would be here, all of a sudden he'd be. I like his I like how I guess I could say similar he was to the Fire Temple's boss in
Oh,
Ocarina of Time.
yeah,
I
yeah.
like that. I like that. That was pretty interesting. But man, that thing he'd be. And then when you first fighting him, you don't really know because it doesn't seem like you're doing damage to him or anything. And then he's
Hmm.
like, "Oh," and then I'm over here, and then I got the bomb over here, and then he drops off all those enemies. Man, that thing was rough.
Yeah,
Like you
where he
basically need
traps
to
you.
be. Mm-hmm. You basically need to be inking your turf so that you can move around because that thing is coming. You'll see the blip and then he's there.
Hmm.
It's like woo, that thing was tough.
Yeah, and he did that thing that I can't stand when most boss battles do because I complained about Leatherhead from Splinter Fate. Is that yeah, he's out and about, then he'll go and hide, and I was like, no, come out, stay out here, let me hit you. I'm like, man,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a good boss battle. And yeah, there was. I remember the first time you and I did that boss battle. I was like, are we damaging this thing? Because I'm like, it didn't
Mm-hmm.
feel like it. and
Right?
and then when he does this little flame shield or whatever, then he curls up and he keeps you in this confined area. Then he just brings all the salmonids coming in, and then if you do it on spicy, I haven't done it on super spicy because I'm scared to death to do this one on super spicy, but I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some seasoned salt enemies coming out here with the big shot and the smoker. It's probably gonna be a madhouse, so I'm dreading it a little bit because the flappetizer one on super spicy was already hard enough. This one, oh, I can't even imagine. But yeah, overall, all these bosses, I thought that they were well designed, well polished. The gameplay loop doing those, and then you know, especially after you beat them like the first time, I was like, the first time you had a tough time with them, and I'm like, okay, now I'm at the point where they're just target practice.
Yep.
So,
Exactly. It's like, oh, I done figured you out now.
hmm,
Although it is kind of tough when they bring out the salty enemies on spicy. That
yes,
is a little bit tough. But yes, it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I got your tricks down. We're good.
absolutely. So now we are going to get into one of the most anticipated discussions is Deep Cut. How we felt about them before versus how we feel about them now. You actually kind of touched upon this before, but now we can kind of dive in a little bit more about this. So for starters, for me, so I was happy that we got a Splatoon 3. I was like, oh, Splatoon 3 is coming. I'm so excited, right? And then they introduced Deep Cut. They showed off Fry, Shiver, and then Big Man. I was like, okay, that's interesting. But I was like, what is this? Not who is this? I said, what is this? And so I'm like, okay. And so, they're going on through the direct and whatnot. I was like, so these are our new idols. Okay. And then, got the game. And I'm still scratching my head because I'm like, wait a second. You mean to tell me that we replaced Off the Hook with this? And so it was just a very hard pill to swallow. And so I did the Splatfest premiere where you can pretty much play in the Splatfest before the game came out. And even then, I just had a tough time just adjusting to that because I was like, maybe because I loved Off the Hook so much, I was like thinking maybe I'll come to love them eventually. And so the Splatfest happened, and I did like their Splatfest music. I was like, okay, their music is pretty, it's pretty good. got that Splatoon vibe. Got the game, and I'm still like, what is this? Where's my off the hook? Where's my Squid Sisters? And Squid Sisters made an appearance in story mode, so I was happy to see them. And when story mode happened, and then you fought DJ Octavio, which funny enough, for some reason I thought he was gonna appear in Splatoon Raiders, but he didn't. But you fight DJ Octavio, and then once you fall into that hole into Alterna, it shows deep cut, and it was very eerie vibe I was getting from. I was like, wait a second, are they evil? And then couple levels later, you find out, hey, we're bandits. We're here, we're treasure hunters. And since you're trying to claim our turf, we're gonna kill you. I'm like, what? I was like, you guys are idols. So you guys are idols in front of the people, but behind closed doors where nobody can see you, this is what you do? So, um, so it's still, I just wasn't getting a good vibe from them. And then Big Man had that awesome collab song with the Squid Sisters during this one of the Splatfest songs. I thought that was so cool, so neat. And then, oh boy, we get to Big Betrayal. Banger of a song. Love that song. Banger. But Shiver and Fry beat up Big Man because he was trying to collab and network their idol group to some other people. They beat him up and got mad over him. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And so, that and then off the hook, they came back from going on their world tour. And this is a part of the lore because I read about it on their song "Suffer No Fools." Off the Hook came off from their world tour back to Inkopolis Square. Fans are welcoming them back. They're happy to see him. Fry hears about it and she gets mad and she tells Shiver that she's going to go to Inkopolis Square to give them a piece of her mind. And Shiver's like, "Hey, sign me up. I'm with you. Let's go. Let's go." And that's how that argument ensued, and that's what happened. And of course, Off the Hook ate him up. But yeah, it was just like a lot of things that was just kind of painted in a negative light in Splatoon 3 for them. So I was like, yeah, they have some good songs, but even then, I'm like, I can't. I still can't. I did feel a little bad when they did lose the Grand Festival and they got like nothing. And I'm going to touch upon that a little bit more later on. But yeah, I was like, well, you see right here with the Grand Festival. I mean, Off the Hook, Squid Sisters. I mean, the numbers don't lie. This is what we like. So fast forward to Splatoon Raiders. Like I said in the very beginning, I was like, they're coming back? Because once the Grand Festival happened, and I'm thinking that, okay, we're going to move on to Splatoon 4. I'm like, it's okay. They can stay here Splatoon 3. They don't have to come to Splatoon 4. We'll be okay. We will be okay. And so fast forward to Splatoon Raiders, and I'm like, they're coming back. I'm stranded on this island. I was like, let's just get this over with. And then, you have those interactions. They're helping you. And it's the same feeling that I got when it comes to like Final Fantasy. Like how in Final Fantasy 7, Cloud and Barret in the very beginning, the very first stage when they're fighting against that robot, they're butting heads, they're arguing. They're like, "What are you doing? Why did you do this? What are you complaining about?" They were fighting, arguing. But by the time you're getting to like the end of the game, they're like, "Hey, you okay, buddy? Hey, you did a good job. Way to go, buddy. You the man." That's how I felt about Deep Cut. They're with you pretty much every stage except for the compass challenges, which is okay. But they're fighting with you. You kind of get to know them. You see another side of them that you don't get to see in Splatoon 3, and I think that's what they wanted to highlight the most, was that they're not just these group of bandits and treasure hunting thieves out to kill you. They were trying to do it for Splatsville. I get it, I do. But the way that they did it in this game, how they're helping you out and fighting with you at the very end, learning about their culture, their history, everything, it really shined a new light. It shined a new light because I was like, now I'm at the point where I adore them, especially after that ending. I'm like, I adore them. I love them. Now I'm like, you know what? With Splatoon 4, they have to come back. They need to come back. When the DLC comes out for Splatoon 4, if they say Deep Cut is making an appearance, I'm gonna get it because they need to come back. Of course, Off the Hook and Squid Sisters, they will forever be my queens. But Deep Cut, they definitely joined that fold as being diamonds within that fold. So like I said, I love them. And I'm gonna get into some more of my thoughts because I do want to share this later. But now, you touched upon it earlier. But what are your thoughts about Deep Cut now?
So I'm mostly with you here in the beginning. Deep cut. I'm like, I'm sorry, but you ain't no Squid Sisters, and you ain't no Off the Hook. I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
you just ain't. A few of their songs are good here and there. I like Big Betrayal, even though they basically had to cause a rift in order to get it. It's like, okay, and then some of their songs were okay. They weren't bangers. Um, like, uh, yeah, they just like, I'm sorry, you ain't no Squid Sisters and you ain't no Off the Hook. But I would just say I kind of like them okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people at the time, around the time I was getting into Splatoon 3 and playing it a lot of people were like, yeah, I really like Shiver. That's my favorite. I really like Shiver. Like on the same, like as if they were on the same level as Squid Sisters and Off the Hook. And I'm like, no,
Mm-hmm.
no. No, she's okay. Whatever. She got her little fan. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. You. Whatever. Do whatever you want to do with that. But now, come to Splatoon Raiders. I love Deep Cut. Uh, like I used to be like, I want to like them more, but I don't. I just don't. But now I love them. They are, of course, my favorite Squid Sisters. They're
Right.
always going to be near and dear to my heart.
Right.
But they are very good. You ain't no Off the Hook good, but you are good. I can take that. So like, yeah, it was like you were saying, Splatoon 4, I was like, I don't want to see no Deep Cut. I'm not interested in what they got going on now in number 4. I'll be like, where Deep Cut at? What is this? What are y'all doing?
They need
Yeah,
to come
I'm
back.
all with it. I'm all with it. And I'll say that to say that that's kind of how the series is for me at this point. I've always loved the series. Don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong. I've always loved the series. But if Splatoon 4 comes out tomorrow, I'm getting it tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like there's no question at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
there isn't any kind of there's no question. Splatoon 4 is getting bought by me. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like that's how I feel about Deep Cut. Like we were talking about the amiibo, right?
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, you know, I'll get the amiibo maybe one day if I feel like it.
I only
I
got
just
big
assumed
man. Yeah.
they were just gonna be, laying around at Best Buy for years. That's what I imagined. And then I saw that they were selling out. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why they selling. I mean, I kind of expected the Shiver one to sell out because everybody likes Shivers.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people like Shiver, and I'm like, whatever, you can have her. I don't care. But now I'm like, okay, so my Fry and Shiver are on the way.
Oh, nice.
I will have them. I will have them soon.
Awesome.
And yeah. So, anyways, how about
Yeah.
that?
I only got big man because I was like I only like big man. I was like I ain't worried about fry and shiver. Now I'm dreading. I'm like why didn't I get the 3-pack? Like why didn't I get
Exactly. I'm like, why did I not? Yeah, because and now anything to do with Deep Cut, it's a day one purchase. Like if there was 3 shirts available to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I was like, okay, let's say that you could buy 3 shirts
Mm-hmm.
and and you could buy a Squid Sister shirt, you could buy an Off the Hook shirt, and you could buy a Deep Cut shirt. Okay, I would buy two. I would buy 2 Squid Sister shirts and then an Off the Hook shirt. That's what I would have done eventually, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm like, okay, give me a Squid Sisters, give me a give me an Off the Hook, and now give me a Deep Cut,
There you
please.
go.
Thank you very much. I'll take that.
That's right.
So
And,
yes,
and listen. I gotta make I'm here to do a public apology. I am making a public apology to Fry in particular. Fry, I'm so sorry I said that your forehead is actually a five head. Fry, I'm so sorry that I said that your eyes look like they upside down. And Fry, I am so sorry I said who on earth could love this hideous creature. Cause Fry, I love you. I adore you. And I think that's the reason why Fry and Pearl don't get along because they both have similar personalities and they clash. And people with similar personalities like that, they tend to clash. So I get it. But I adore her. I adore her. She's cute. She's funny. She's hilarious. She's feisty. I love her. I do. Because, you and I, we've been doing these Splatfests for a long time. And who's the one who always loses?
Exactly. But it does seem like the one that really counted the most, Fry won.
Yes.
Like it feels like this one mattered the most.
Exactly.
And she won that one. And I was actually happy for her. Like usually I'm like, okay. I was like, okay, I want to pick Fry's team, but I already know I'm gonna lose.
But I know I'm gonna lose. That's what everybody says. If you pick Fry, you're gonna lose.
Like, do I want to pick that? I mean, like I always knew that I was gonna go. Wasn't she Courage? Wasn't she the Courage one?
No, she was Wisdom, and I chose that one.
Oh, she was Wisdom. Okay.
Big Man was Courage.
I couldn't remember who. Okay, so yeah, I was Big Man that time. Okay. Yeah, most of the time she has that team that you already know is gonna lose. So I mean, even during the Splatfest, I thought for sure it was speed or tactics.
Mm-hmm.
I thought for sure. It just that's how it felt like it was going. But then I was thinking about it for a while, and I'm like, I'm thinking about power as far as the Triforce Splatfest. And I'm like, power won that one.
Yeah.
So
they made a Zelda reference Splatfest in their Anarchy Splatfest because they were like, Shimmer, weren't you Team Power before?
Right.
And she's like, hey, life changes just like speed. Something like that. But yeah, like I said, I was like before I couldn't stand to look at Fry. I was like, ain't no way. But I was like, she is adorable. I love her. I love the Middle Eastern vibe music that she brings to these deep cut songs as well too, because they were. When you beat the game, you can kind of hear it. I don't know if you listen to the music in the Hideout, their new song. I don't know what song that is, but I was like, that needs to come to Nintendo Music like now, because that is such a good song.
Like now, like yesterday.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It is such a good song. You can hear that Middle Eastern vibe whenever her part comes on, and I love it. And that also brings me to another point about when I talked about the Ask the Developers. See, they said that in front of interviewers or people. They're trying to be respectful, but in the way my wacky mind works, this is what really happened. They saw what happened at the Grand Festival, and they were mad. The developers were mad. They were like, you mean to tell me we created these characters and you guys say no? They're like, oh no, the Splatoon community is not going to get Splatoon 4 until they love Deep Cut. So put Splatoon 4 on hold. We're going to make a spin-off and we're going to bring them back. So I could just imagine someone animating Splatoon Raiders. They have their mouse and keyboard and they're sitting up there mumbling, grumbling, talking about, they go sit them and tell me that they don't like my character? My characters? I make this game. I'm going to show them. I'm going to show them. And so they make the game. And then if you ever seen like those villains whenever, they're shipping off something or they go into another scene, they have that evil laughter. So they're sending off the copies of Splatoon Raiders to these retailers, and you just hear the developers doing that evil laugh. And then you got that one person who looks like Ego from Blue Lock. He don't sleep or anything, but he just sit up there watching the playtime of everyone who got Raiders.
Yes. You know you're gonna fix this. Right? Fix this glass. You're gonna fix this, right? Mm-hmm. Oh
Yes,
yeah.
he's
Oh
just
yeah.
like yes, yes. Keep playing, and he don't sleep. And now here we are to the present day where what was that Monkey Thunder show? Metacritic. It ranked top 7 of all of best game of all times in the Metacritic sections. Ranked 7. Claire Obscure got number 1. Splatoon Raiders number 7.
And it deserves it.
Yes, absolutely. So, mission accomplished, developers. If that was your ultimate goal for us to love Deep Cut, you got me. You did it.
Yep.
You did it. I am reformed. I'm ready for Splatoon 4 because I'm pretty sure that's why they did it too, because they probably wanted Deep Cut to make a big comeback. Because I don't know if you got this from Deep Cut, but it's so funny. They still tailor it to the grand festival. You got their future VIP pass to their next concert.
Mm-hmm.
And it says they're treat them right. If we find out that you were mean to them, you're gonna have to deal with us for the mechanic. And
Yep.
I hope that the mechanic does come, whether it's going to be my mechanic or just a generic, a generic mechanic that they come up with. I do hope the mechanic comes back too, and Deep Cut be like, yeah, this is our future tour. Oh, meet our mechanic. This person. Yeah, developers, well done, mission accomplished. You did it. I have been conformed to loving Deep Cut. So that's what I wanted to get out. Okay.
Yes. I'm in full agreement, might I add.
Awesome.
Although Fry still has a big forehead. We just still
She
don't
does.
know
She does. But hey, I love a little forehead. Like I said, I just had to make a
Right.
public apology for that because I'm like, no. In the beginning, I was like, no, but after Splatoon Raiders, I am 100. I even showed in Discord. I changed my banner on Splatoon 3. It's a picture of the deep cut from Splatoon Raiders, and it says "sincere deep cut fan" because I'm
Mm-hmm.
definitely a fan of their music and their talents and everything now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, whew, oh, it feels like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders because I had to get that out.
Oh yeah.
So now we're going to get into the final area and the final boss battle. So our thoughts about that. So I'll let you talk on this one first.
So I always like stages that are a change of pace, right? So it kind of put me in the mind of the Grizzco battle, Mr. Grizz battle
Oh,
at
yes.
the end of Splatoon 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this was fantastic. Like, it's kind of like you wondering, what are you gonna do with this giant thing in the sky? Like, what do we do here? And then he's dropping enemies on you. Platforming is happening. It's like you better get off this platform because here it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that was it was thrilling. And then it was kind of like I need to kill this thing. Why don't you die already? Come on, let's go. And then you get to pull out the like I said, when you pull out that special where it's all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that thing was fantastic. Oh, that was fantastic. Um, yeah, that was a boss battle. He was giving you everything you could take, and boy, that boss battle was brutal, and it was everything you would have wanted in a boss battle. So, yeah, I liked it. It was a whole change of pace. Um, um, you know, you don't destroy the eggs. He's dropping fast enough. They spawn into enemies, and it could be any random enemy. Ooh, it was brutal. And then he'd be like, "Oh, by the way, here's a hyper beam for you." Oh, gotcha. It's like, ooh,
We
that thing
died
is
so many
rough.
times to that.
Oh yeah, because it was like full on, full on, full on hyper beam. Like it was gonna take all of your health if it hit you. That was the crazy part.
Mm-hmm. And what I appreciate about it too is that you could do this final boss with a friend. So that's why I was so glad I was able to do it with you and share that experience with you too. I had someone else reach out to me and wanted to do it, but I was like, no, no, no. I specifically wanted to do it with you because you and I, we were on this journey together, and yeah, I thought it was so cool. You could bring in a friend, and the different phases. Usually like not all games, but I think it's because this one unspoken game that I will not talk about had a phase like that, but it was far less interesting and more annoying than anything. But the different phases in this game with like you're surfing on that water. That was crazy. I was like, oh snap. You're surfing on the water, he's dropping these pillars on you, he's shooting the little whatever those golden things were, and then yeah, he's doing the hyper beam, and then you're doing this platforming in this outer space, and it was just crazy. And then Deep Cut comes in to help you. Big Man comes in to save you. Deep Cut, Shiver summons her shark. Fry summons her eel, and it makes like this angelic shark eel with wings. It was crazy. It was
Yes.
absolutely wild. And that drill attack, and oh my gosh, that was the best version of Anarchy Rainbow I've ever heard. Because I remember when I first heard Anarchy Rainbow back at the Splatfest of Splatoon 3, I was like, it's nice, but it's not no off the hook where it's like, we out here partying. It was
Hmm.
like it was just like, just kind of basic for me, so I was like, okay. But this version of Anarchy Rainbow, oh my goodness. I could listen to it all day long. And so, when we were fighting that boss battle together, I was feeling it. I was enjoying it. Everything about Deep Cut, it made me appreciate about them a lot more. That final boss was disgusting. Like I said, what got me was the hands, and he was all like this, and he just be moving his fingers. I'm like, oh.
He really was. He really was.
But it was a
They were
cool
like,
boss. Yeah, yeah. I was like,
yeah.
ugh. And then like its three head or what it did something where its head it just opened and it turned into a drill. I'm like, what in the world is going on here? And then it would twirl. I'm like, how does that even work?
Yeah.
I do like the name though, Sam Monarch. I was like, okay, okay. I thought that was pretty cool. So, yeah. Any other thoughts about the final boss in the final area we explored?
I just thought it was well done. I could tell that a lot of development went into this last boss. Like, he kind of gave me some Xenoblade slash Zelda elements, and
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciated that. But yeah, that. I thought that was fine. That was definitely a final boss. Because the whole time I'm like, we're doing all this stuff, but we're not even really damaging this guy. Like, at what point are we actually going to do some damage to him? Because he's sending everything at us, and I mean
Mm-hmm.
everything. So, anyways,
They included that drill attack into this final boss battle. It was so epic how they pulled that off. And then that timer went off, and I'm like, okay, we got a timer. I didn't know what to do. I froze. I was like, what are we supposed to do? And it wasn't until I saw you moving. I was like, oh, we got to get to the ship.
exactly.
Oh, so, but yeah, overall, that final boss battle, I would say that's probably, let's see here. Because I'm just trying to think of like the other Splatoon boss battles. Yeah, Splatoon 3 was pretty epic too. Well, they were all pretty epic in their own right, but I would have to say, probably out of all of them, let's see here. Yeah, I would say probably this probably be like number two in the Splatoon series for me. That's just me personally. But
Yeah, I can
definitely,
understand that.
definitely a memorable one. Oh my goodness. So now we're going to get into a very exciting part. Our Work for Games community thoughts. So I got a couple right here. And first one I'm going to share. This comes from our good buddy Mikul, which we do. Hopefully, we get a chance to play this game with him because I know he finished a good bit of it. I wouldn't be surprised if he finished all super spicy stage because I know our buddy Octoboy did. But here's what he had to say about the game. So overall, the game is awesome. It feels like an awesome combination between the levels of previous story modes and the power of side order. It feels crazy to think as a normal inkling taking as large of a horde of salmonids as you do in the end of Raiders feels impossible alone and is still a struggle with 4 people. But in Raiders, with all the power and abilities you have, you can do it without breaking a sweat. Overall, they nailed all the gadgets and each one feels pretty unique in its own way. And most feel great to use. A few of them in a meh on. The challenge level also is perfect. I expected it to be a kind of messy, a kind of easy game, and need to play on hard to make it a little bit of, to make a little bit of a challenge. But nah, the whole game poses a good challenge even for a Splatoon vet. Balancing multiplayer is also something they did perfectly. A lot of co-op shooter games would either feel too easy for the over level people or too hard for the lower level ones, but they managed to keep it mostly fun for everyone. Only thing I really wish for was a bit more content, hoping for DLC, like 1 or 2 more gadgets, and maybe some new levels in the post game instead of replaying the old ones on a harder difficulty. But other than that, not many complaints, and the game is awesome. 9.5 out of 10, and most likely my game of the year. Well said, Miko. Well said. And yeah, it's like this mechanic is overpowered. I thought Agent 8 was strong. Holy cow. Where this mechanic been? First, the mechanic started off as
Yes.
just a pilot. But then
Yes.
he takes scrapes up garbage and makes them overpowered. Who on earth does that? Not Agent 3 couldn't pull this off. Not even Agent 8, who I thought was more powerful. No, but the mechanic is OP. Holy Toledo. I totally agree with what Mikul said here, that, it's fun for everybody, no matter what your level is. And the replayability of this game, whether if you're just starting it out, or, you're a veteran Splatoon player or veteran Raiders player, is fun for everybody.
Yes. I do have one to add,
Go ahead.
if you got just a second for that. So, Chrono bought the game on day one,
Hmm.
but he was out,
Oh,
so he never got to play it.
okay.
So all he heard was through the grapevine, through us and Monkey Thunder and whatnot, how good the game was. He
Hmm.
was like, I'll get to it when I get to it, whatever. I was like, just give it a try. Let me know.
Hmm.
And I believe he just tried it this week. And he's like, I am so in love with this game. I was like, yeah, I know. I know you are.
Oh, that is
That just
awesome.
happened just this week.
Just
So
this
we might
week.
be playing with
Wow.
Chrono soon.
Okay, yeah. We love to do some raids. I don't care if he is level 10. We'll help you out.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what I told him. I was like, look, we will play the whole game all over again. We
Mm,
don't mind at all. So, yeah.
hmm. And like I told you, this game had its grip on me, so I was obsessed with it. And I think I told you this too, because, and like I said, and this is only because I thought Raiders was going to be like Splatoon 3. It's like a game I could just jump in and out of, which, I mean,
Hmm.
technically I could, but I was like, I can't. Like, every time I want to play one, I want to play 10 more. Then when I play 10 more, I want to do 100 more. I thought
Exactly.
so. Around the same time, I got like a couple of games and some DLC, and I was like, okay, let me just try. And I was like, let me just try out Raiders first, and then I'll jump into these, because I was like, Raiders is gonna be something I could just jump back in and out to. Somber, and I'll admit it to everybody who's listening to this podcast right now. I have not even touched those games. These are brand new, like full price Switch 2 games and some DLC. I haven't touched them. Oh my gosh, I haven't touched them because I'm like this game, this right here has been sucking the life out of me.
Yep, you keep it right here on your arm at all times. It's like you carry it with you at all times. Like, okay,
All
okay,
times. And I'm
okay,
always
yeah.
thinking about new builds, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm constantly thinking about. So when Miko says here that he's hoping for some DLC with some more tanks and builds and not just levels, I agree. Give us some more builds,
Mm-hmm.
some more tanks. You know,
Mm-hmm.
any reason for me to come back to this game, I'll do it. I'll do
Yep,
it.
you're exactly right. I certainly will, and I honestly do think that it will have DLC.
I do
I
too.
just don't see it not having DLC. It seems like too much of a DLC ability game. Like it seems like so possible because all you gotta do is add some challenge islands. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be that difficult. Like
I
have it where it's nothing but boss battles, like a boss rush,
hmm
something like that.
hmm
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I hope this game gets the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe treatment. Remember how that game got so much content? I hope it gets that treatment. I really do. They don't even need to make a Splatoon Raiders 2. Just update this game.
You're exactly right.
We don't need a Splatoon Raiders 2. Just keep updating this game and you got me. You got me.
Oh yeah,
And,
totally agree there.
and the Splatoon developers know, they and you know what's going to happen. They're going to have they're now going to divide up the team. They're going to have a team for Splatoon 4 and a team for Splatoon 2 because they're like, okay, people loving this game, we're going to divide it up.
Yep,
And
yep, exactly right.
I have another submission in. This isn't from our community. This is from a good buddy of mine's, Lens of Truth. You guys probably see him pop in to my streams every now and again, but he is a wonderful content creator. So he wanted to share his thoughts with us here, and this is what he told me. He says, "I enjoyed the pacing of the game, unlocking upgrades slowly for tanks, weapons, gadgets, gear. I also like how they incentivize using other tanks in levels in order to complete it fully. 3 tanks in certain stages." Oh, I know what he's talking about. Also, for the mechanics, I liked how you can combine gadgets for both offense and defense. And that's what he says there. And yeah, those 3 tank stages, how they well, they don't force them. It's kind of, even though they do make it optional, I was like, nah, I want to do it as all 3 because you do get rewarded for that too. But it is pretty cool how it's like, okay, you get to the stage and you see the 3 teams. It's like, okay, yeah, you know, even though I've been sticking with speed, it's like, okay, now let me go ahead and try power. And it's like, oh man, now I love power. Now I gotta tinker with this and this and that. It's like they give you all these options to kind of explore as much as the game possibly. That's why, because people were all like, well, why are they incentivizing to, play the game by yourself? Because, and this is before the game came out, they were so focused that you just play the game by yourself, by yourself, by yourself. And in my mind, I'm thinking maybe it's because they don't want to confuse certain people with the competitive side. They're like, no, this isn't the competitive Splatoon. This is just single player only. Yeah, and they played it off. Yeah, have a little multiplayer if you want to, but it's a single player focused game. And that was slick how they did that, because they did not hardly highlight that multiplayer as much. And honestly, that was a smart move on their part. They knew
Hmm.
they were like, just play by yourself, just play by yourself. You know what, this won't even be a full price game. We just want people just to try it. And that's how they reeled in a lot of people. And yeah, what Lynn said here was absolutely correct. And he has a video that you guys can check out where he does a review of the game, and he really touches on some really key points about that game that I definitely appreciated. So thank you, Lynn, for submitting this to us. Definitely agree with everything that you said here. All right, so if you made it this far, we're almost done. So the last thing we have is our concluding thoughts about the game. So any concluding thoughts you would like to share, Somber?
Yes, I have just the one I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it was a very nice touch for them to do the redesigned weapons the way they did. You know, because it's like, what This is what is this? Aluminum twin cans, dualies. Okay, this mustard and ketchup. This baby bottles. What is this? Okay, we got the glass bottle shooter, and then we got the what is like the palm tree brella. I think that was fantastic because it puts a nice spin on the weapons that you
Hmm.
already knew and loved. It's kind of cool that that happened, and I'd be almost willing to bet here that it's coming to the regular it's coming to regular Splatoon 3 at some point.
Oh yeah,
You'll get them like they'll just be just how they did the Cobra, the Jet Sculpture Cobra, and the Frozen. I'm pretty sure that they're if not if they don't wait till Splatoon 4, they'll probably put some of these in Splatoon 3. I'm pretty sure, cause yeah yeah uh those those designs are very very intuitive.
absolutely. They did it for the Splatoon 3 side order DLC. They brought all the order weapons to Splatoon 3 as just
Hmm.
cosmetics that you can just use in Turf War or Anarchy. So I'm pretty sure if they don't do it in Splatoon 3, same with you. I hope that they bring them to Splatoon 4, bring them over there. I think that'd be really
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
Um, was there anything else you wanted to add?
Nope, that was it. I just like those designs.
Yeah, those designs were spectacular. Yeah, two ketchup bottles. Oh, no, the ketchup and mustard bottles and the baby bottle.
Yeah, that was
The soap
hilarious.
bottle. I use the olive oil jet squelcher. I don't know if you got that. It's a 5 star.
Mhm.
It was like an olive oil squelcher. But yeah, my concluding thoughts. I actually kind of said it already. I just hope that this game gets the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe treatment as far as like updates and DLC because they have to. I mean, they can make a separate team. I don't care how big the team is. They don't have to make it a big team. They if only 2 or 3 people can do it. I don't know what the work life is for developing a game. I don't know what it is. This is just me just thinking off the top of my head. But whatever they need to do in order to provide more updates for this game, I say do it, do it, do it, do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cause Splatoon 4. As much as I'm excited for it to come, cause trust me, now as much as I love Raiders, don't get me wrong, I'm still a competitive Splatoon player at heart. I love my turf war. I love my ranked battles. I'll still do them. When Splatoon 4 comes out, rest assured, I'm gonna rack up 150 hours within the first week. I am. I'm probably gonna go buku crazy, play some turf war over and over again, getting tilted about my random teammates. The same thing's gonna happen, but you know what? I'm gonna have a great time doing it.
Absolutely.
And so, but yeah, that's just my final thought. It's just that I hope that this gets the same treatment as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I really hope it gets that treatment. So that is my final thoughts. If you made it here to the end of the podcast, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll be sure to timestamp everything, so that way if there's just a particular part that people just want to listen to, that's fine. We do encourage people to play the game first and then come listen to us talking about the game. But if you did beat the game and you made it all the way here, hey, we welcome you. We thank you so much. And Somber, I want to thank you for joining me for this wonderful spoiler cast. And I promise you, we're gonna do Final Fantasy VII because yeah, another game that I haven't been playing that I need to get on. Rebirth. I got the game. I did a little bit of it, but Raiders came out and yeah, don't ask me how my progress is going in that game.
Hey, you'll get there. You will get there.
I will. I will. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. If there's any additional thoughts that you want to share about the game or just the podcast overall, please let us know in the comment section what you think. We have a wonderful family-friendly non-toxic Discord server that I will link in the description below. I also stream on Twitch and occasionally YouTube from time to time. So if you want to check me out there, feel free to drop in, hang out, play some games. We'd love to have you. So that's going to end it for us here. We are going to clock out on this podcast, and we will see you guys next time. Later.